Hey lovelies, it's Alexa with the Shawn Petite creative team. Today we're going to be creating this art journal page in the book that I actually made for the Crash the Stash. So I'm picking my page, and as you can see, I've already got some amazing Shawn Petite stencils on there from the last time we worked in here and created all of our pages. So we're starting without a blank page, which is so much fun. I am going to grab some tags from the pocket there and start planning my page. Now, since my page already has some color down, I'm going to start by kind of unifying the pages together with some black and some white. As Shawn always tells us in her videos, and I totally agree, black and white can be great neutralizers. It can bring a page together, it can push your background back, it can bring things forward. So blacks and whites are definitely a favorite of mine to help when I'm trying to unify two pages. And now I'm going to work on my tags. I'm using this face stencil from Shawn, and I'm actually doing half of the face on one of the tags. And I'm going to grab my watercolors, and this one's just a basic palette of watercolors, nothing super fancy. And I'm going to draw in some hair, and I'm going to start painting with the watercolors on her face and her hair. And you'll see as I get going how the stencil itself actually starts to inspire where this page goes. So now I'm just going to go back over the black lines of the stencil as well as drawing in black lines over what I drew. And as I get going, I start to really love the graphic feel of it. So I'm adding a lot of black, even more than just the outlining, and that starts to really become a comic book type feel for me, and I was totally inspired by that. And so all I could think of is when people do those makeups to look like comic book characters, they put those white dots on their face and everything's outlined in a really crisp black. So immediately I just had my inspiration. It struck. So this girl is going to get that same treatment of the dots on her face to make her look like a graphic novel or comic book girl. And because of that, I now have a direction for the rest of my page. To finish this tag off, I grabbed this stencil here by Shawn, and I just loved these squares and how it again mirrored that graphic nature of the comic book feel. So I'm loving how it turns out, and here's where you'll see I start adding my white dots. I start with the end of a paintbrush, but then switch just to a really fine tip paintbrush so I can control them a little better, but I just love how she turns out. And now I grab my second tag, which was going to hold my sentiment for the page. And of course, I didn't really know what it was going to say when I started this page, but I knew I'd want it to have some kind of message. As I created the girl on the other tag, I immediately thought of the fact that she's a comic book girl, but she's not a comic book girl wearing a superhero costume. She's just herself. And so I decided that what a perfect message is that you can be yourself and be your own superhero. And I'll add in a few more tie-ins with some of those mark making stencils just to bring it all back together with the same colors, unifying it, as well as the same images. And here's where I decide to take it to the next level with this comic book feel idea. I decide to grab a black Sharpie and a ruler, and I make some comic book type cells. So basically I'm creating different blocks, and then I will white out in between so that it has that comic book feel. So super different for an art journal page, not anything I've done before, but because of the inspiration that came from creating the girl on the tag, I now have this whole idea that I'm just kind of running with, and it feels really good to just play and have fun, which of course, having a comic book feel kind of has that youthful, fun part to it. And there you have it, my friends. I am finished with this super fun page. I love the message of it. This girl became a comic book girl, and immediately I realized that, hey, she does not need to be the damsel in distress that's waiting for a superhero. She is her own. She doesn't need a mask. She doesn't need a costume. She is just super cool, and she is her own superhero. So go out there and be your own superhero today, guys. Thanks for watching.